108. It all depends on how much time we take in fulfilling the mission. I guess we can complete it in 2 weeks, Watson said. Lem rubbed his chin and asked, strange the military looking on us for the job, having hundreds ready for the job in their payroll. But this is not official. Our patron is Governor Delphin. He is in connivance with some officials in the military ranks. Must be a wealthy man. Lem murmured. More than that, seems to me is a crook. Saul intervenes. But pays well. Our mission is very simple. We must descend into an abandoned mine, dig for gold, and come back to a certain point with as much gold we can carry. Watson informed. Gold. Lem mused out. Yes, but Don acute accent. Do you think we could take it for ourselves? The trip back here will be done by outphaser, and it will take only minutes, Watson said. Those apparatus are controlled by the military, Steve said. Lem rubbed his chin and said, an in and out operation. It sounds good to me. Yes. I knew you will join us in this adventure. Nothing that we have an acute accent done before ellipsis points, Watson said. I don't acute accent no ellipsis points. I should ask for permission at work ellipsis points. $1 million means 3 monthly payments, not as much as to throw a job out the window, Lem said. Well, look at it this way, if acute accent is like a bonus. And to your boss, tell him you want your vacations in advance. Watson recommends him. 109. Lem stayed there for an hour, without deciding. Watson calls for a taxi cab and Lem returns home in it, dozing. It was not his idea to disappoint his former comrades, but also, he was at ease with his current job. He told Lamia about it, and she said, well, 2 weeks goes as a whisper. And with that money you could improve our furniture around here. Lem realizes she was accepting the offer, so he asks for a vacation at his job and was accepted. Chapter 7. The Mission. 4 days later, they were waiting in a corridor for Colonel Simpson. When appearing, he said, follow me, gentlemen. We have no minute to lose. They enter a vaulted room, where a Negro man was staring at some console. Jimmy. Here are our passengers. Have you the coordinates ready? Yes, sir. The man said, standing and guiding Watson and the rest into a chamber, saying, relax. You will be there without a problem. And he closed the metallic door. A buzzing and soon afterwards a tingling on their skins. The door opens and a light-bearded man sticks his head inside the chamber, saying, welcome. But get hurry. I acute accent am risking my whole career. They went out of that chamber and that bearded man guided them through a corridor, saying, there is a car waiting for you outside. The driver will explain things to you. 110. At the end of the corridor there was a metallic door. He opens it and the 4 men paraded out ellipsis points. The place was an alley. A man was smoking not 10 paces away. When looking at them, he threw his cigarette to the ground and said, the new pigeons. Welcome to Gemini B3. Follow me, gents. And start to walk to the extreme of that alley. The air smells piquant. Saul commented. Yes, the old spicy flavor. Watson corroborates. They went out the alley and enter an avenue, towards a van. The guide walks, from behind his left shoulder. I come as far as in here. The driver will carry you towards your destination. They climb into the van and the driver said, good afternoon, gents. We will be traveling out of the city. Stay calm. And started the engine. The vehicle was 4-wheelers ellipsis points, an antique for Earth standards, but in Pirate Town was the usual vehicle running the streets, that were in an awful condition, holes and cracks everywhere. The driver puffed but did not make other kind of complaint. Half an hour later, they were beginning to roll by a dirt road, perhaps in a better condition than at those concrete streets of Pirate Town. Ellipsis point. Stop the van, please. I need to piss, Lem said. The driver parked near a big tree, and not only Lem went down but everyone, some to ease their bladders and some others to stretch their legs. The driver keeps on being seated and lights a cigarette. After a while, Lem approaches him, asking, hey, buddy. How much to reach our destination point? 111, a large stretch, buddy. Some 240 kilometers from here. The driver replied. Lem said it to the rest, that weren't happy to hear that. Watson said, no wonder this trip is a rude one. Remember, that this society have small incomes and people lives mainly from the products of the sea. They heard stomping coming from the nearby forest and the driver calls them using the klaxon. Hurry, hurry. Jump inside. Something big is coming. He yelled, taking his head out the window. What? Lem asked, in panic. To the van. Watson yelled, and everyone gets into the car. The driver steps on the accelerator and they moved from there at 45 kilometers per hour. Where it is? I see nothing. Wow. That was a big one. A big beast 11 meters tall. Big head and in 2 foot. I see it between the trees. Saul announced. Must have been an Acrocanthosaurus. Similar to a T-Rex. The driver said, perspiring. Could he follow us? Saul asked. I don't acute accent he thinks so ellipsis points those animals are scarce around here. It must have been an old specimen. The driver said, adding, you know, I have a course on dinosaurs, and this is a genus of Carcharodontosauriid dinosaur. Like most dinosaur genera, Acrocanthosaurus contains only a single species, Atacamsus. Acrocanthosaurus is a bipedal predator. As the name suggests, it is best known for the high neural spines on many of its vertebrae, which supported a ridge of muscle over the animal's neck, back, and hips. He is one of the largest theropods, with the largest known specimen reaching 11 and 11.5 meters in length and weighing approximately 3.6 and 5.5 metric tons. Half an hour later, the driver tops the vehicle and right away Watson said, look. A fallen tree across the road. They descended and yes, a big tree trunk was blocking the way. Ellipsis points 112. No way could we keep on going. But perhaps we could go around it. Steve commented. The driver examines the surrounding area and said, no way could we advance. Sorry, guys, we have to go back. And he looks at his wristwatch. What? A delay in transit? And as Saul asked. Yes. Get inside the van. We are leaving. The driver said, adding, I will tell authorities about this. Surely they will come here and take the tree trunk out of the way. Good to know we will be stuck in here for almost a week. Lem said, thinking on Lamia. Ellipsis points hours later, they arrive back in town, and the driver parks inside a property, saying, wait here. I will tell them what is happening. Poor day. Lem asked, but the driver just went inside the house. We must take these handicaps with ease. Don't you despair, surely the ones in charge will solve this problem. Watson said. 1 hour later, the driver reappears from that house, saying, I told them about your problem, they will send you by air. Ellipsis points tomorrow. Good. Where we can rest, while waiting? Lem asked. Here you can rest by the night. Sorry there is no food in here. Have you any money? The driver asked. Credits? Saul asked. Yes, credits. Remember, that this city belongs now to our confederation. The driver said. Yes, we know that. Hope prices are the same, as in Earth Planet for a sandwich. Saul said. Meat is cheap around here. Plenty of animals to chop on. The driver indicates. They went out to the street and walked by the uneven roads and automobiles were on the street, but they find it logical, seeing the awful state of the pavement. They enter into a tavern, and seated on a corner of that place, soon they were attended by a young woman, who offered to choose between beans, smashed potatoes or cooked rice, any of the options accompanied by a big piece of meat. Give me the rice with the meat, lady. Have you any wine? Lem asked. Wine and beer is available in here. The damsel replied. Good. Wine it's for me. Red wine, please. Lem asked. She smiled and attends the rest. After 15 minutes, she returns with the dishes and a bottle of red wine, and later with 4 glasses. Nice meal. I wonder what it will cost us. Watson said right curly bracket. Stop worrying. I got enough money to lend you, guys. Of course, I will lend only when you become penniless. Saul offered. I wish we could move on to our goal soon. I detest to be waiting. Lem commented. Watson stared at him and said, sorry about the delay, your wife is waiting for you at home. 114. Steve chuckled and said, I guess she has an acute accent nervous at all. We have an acute accent been out more than a single day. After the meal, the waitress takes the dishes leaving a note on a platter. 130 credits. More than 30 for a single dish. Watson said. And the wine. Yes, but an acute accent is too much. A dinner for 4 at home didn't acute accent amount to 20 credits. Watson said. We are an acute accent at home. Wish we could leave town soon, to begin with our mission. Steve said. They began to take the bills from their pockets, while Lem went to the bathroom. When out of it, he saw the girl attendant at the corridor. Sir, I must tell you something. She said. Yes? If an acute accent asks for my consumption, I will pay you at the table. Lem replied. An acute accent asks not that. Something happens to the men you were with. She said, looking at him with her big black eyes. What happened? Lem said, beginning to walk. She stops him, placing her hands on his chest and saying, no. There is one of them waiting for you. They know you have an acute accent to leave the tavern. Lem takes her arms with both hands, saying, but why are they after us? We only arrived here recently. 115. The damsel acute accent S room. A noise was heard coming from the hall, and she released his grip, saying, you better follow me, now. Or you will never get out on your own. They climb a feeble staircase, and arrives to a large corridor. She almost runs, and enters at the last of the 8 doors opening to the narrow passage. She slides a panel next to the bed, saying, stay inside there. And don't acute accent make any noise. I will go downstairs to see if that soldier goes away ellipsis points or not. What acute accent is your name? Lem murmured, getting inside the small cubicle. They call me Phaeacia. She replied, sliding the panel shut. Lem sits on a stool and waits. The only explanation for authorities to be against them was their illegal use of the out-phaser ellipsis points must have been informed by some spy. He felt his legs cramping, so he lay on the floor, and soon afterwards he was asleep. Some moments later, he heard someone stomping on the wall, and he awakes. Here is my bed. Do you see someone here, you incredulous soldier? And it was Phaeacia acute accent S voice. It acute accent S my duty to be ascertained, miss. The grave voice of the man said. Well? Are you satisfied now? Phaeacia asked. Is it a cellar in this restaurant? The soldier said. No cellar that I know of. Phaeacia replied. Well, that acute accent S all for now. The man said, going away. 116. Lem stayed there for half an hour, thinking in what kind of trouble he was in, and then the woman returns and slides the panel open, bringing him a sandwich and a beer. Take this. The military man goes away ellipsis points now, they must be looking for you at the streets. Phaeacia said. But why did they capture my friends? We have an acute accent done anything bad? Lem reclaimed. She raised her shoulders, inclining the head to a side ellipsis points. I owe you a lot. Lem said. Yes, but I also detest soldiers. Eat before it gets cold. I must go, now. My shift has an acute accent ended. She mentioned. Alright ellipsis points, are you coming back? He asked. Yes, and stay silent. Phaeacia said, sliding the panel shut and departing down. 3 hours later she comes back, locks the door, slide the panel and said, hi. I come back. Good. Can I go out of this cubicle? Lem asked. Yes, nobody needs to come here. She said, smiling. As that room has only a bed, a night table and a closet, they sit on that bed. Tell me about you, to see if I can find the reason the military takes your friends with them. Phaeacia said. Very well. My name is Lem, We come here hired by a rich man with connections with the military, to find a treasure he knows to be hid in the mountains. Lem declared. Which mountains? Aisha asked. The ones to the west of the city. We were closing to them, when we find out a road closed by a big tree trunk. So we returns here, and went out to eat, where it seems we were located. Lem explained. I see nothing illegal on what you told me. Aisha said. Only that we come from Earth and not using a spaceship. We were ushered in a new device, that takes us almost instantaneously here, but the machine is forbidden to be used without authorization from the military. Our patron bribed someone, and that man surely was detected using the machine without proper authorization. That acute accent is the only real motive they can use against us. Lem said. I gave an acute accent he heard of that machine before. She said, staring at him. A device that used dimensions to carry people from one side of the galaxy to the other. And it acute accent is not new, but secret. Lem said. Real strange. She said, not sure to be hearing the truth. And added. And why then don't acute accent use it normally? Spaceships can carry goods, ores, thousands of passengers. These machines I explained to you, can only carry people, and one at a time. They also use a lot of electric energy, so an acute accent is very expensive its use. Lem said. Aisha touches his arm, saying, and they must have discovered the truth. That acute accent is why your friends get caught. It acute accent is the most sensible explanation. Lem said, yawning. She notices it and said, you cannot leave now. Oh, no. But I must sleep somewhere. Not on the floor. We acute accent sleep together on the bed. I have no afraid of you but just the same, we acute accent sleep and rest. Aisha said. Of course. Thanks. He said, touching her slender shoulder. He saw Aisha bedding and she said, take off your boots. Or you acute accent never sleep well. Yes, oh, that last on a bed. Lem said, and she puts the covers on. Soon he heard her breath evenly. He takes 1 hour to get asleep, as his mind was busy thinking on what to do next. 2 hours later, be awake. He was hearing something scratching at the door, so he moves, alerting the woman. What are you doing? Aisha asked. 119, I heard something scratching at the door. What do you think it could be? Lem asked. She heard for a while and said, in acute accent as a cat. Sometimes I accept him in here, sometimes not because of the weather. But now in acute accent is not so cold, so I will be ignoring him. All right. Sorry to have awakened you. He said, smiling in the dark. She curled on that bed, and the heat of her body aroused the man, who begins caressing her, until she turns towards him. He kissed her and soon they loved each other. At dawn, he dressed and waits for her to awake. She opens her eyes and said, oh, you get dressed already? Yes, perhaps in acute accent is better, for you that I abandon this cozy room. He commented. She thinks on it and said, wait, until I go down to see, if there is no danger. All right. By the way, you are adorable. Lem said. She smiled and said, do you really think so? Of course. And he kissed her. She gets dressed and said, I will lock the door. I am sure nobody will come here. Good. He said, seeing her walking out. 2 hours later, Aisha returns with a sandwich and a beer, saying, I saw nobody special at the bar. But I will be going to the street to buy some things. If I see anything suspicious, I will let you know. 120, after a while, she returns to work. Lem was becoming bored, but he calmed himself down, thinking that it was better to get bored than to get imprisoned. At lunch hour, Aisha returns, saying, hi. Are you much bored? Not right now. He said, hugging her. She smiled and said, I went twice to the street, I saw nothing suspicious. Good. So their acute accent is nobody searching? Perhaps you should use another clothes ellipsis point simpler ones. And with plain shoes ellipsis points your boots betrays you as not a simpleton. She commented with a little smile. Could you buy me some clothes? She denied, saying, not possibly. The rest of the staff will suspect. Then I acute accent go myself. But perhaps tomorrow. And I need a bath. She looked troubled and said, I will bring you a basin. And departed. Lem went after her, and finding the bath downstairs, he uses. As there was nobody at the bar in that moment, he walks out and begins walking by the street. He was thankful of that woman, but also he wasn't acute accent too willing to cause her any trouble. At downtown he bought some clothes and makes the change. He bought a bag and puts inside his boots and the old garments, and enters a coffee shop, where he buys a sandwich and a cup of that brewage, while looking at the news in a television set. He learned that now the proper name of the city was changed to Woodsworth City. He searched for a hotel close to that, where Phaeacia was working, but finding a room at a landlady acute accent's home, he prefers it, as it was more private. He told her he was married recently and that he will live there with his wife. No problem with which you live, sir, only to behave and pay me the rent in time, Miss Godluda said. At lunchtime, he went to Phaeacia acute accent's place. Hi. I thought you desert me, she said, seriously. I will never desert you. I rent a place. Please go to see it, when you can. She remains silent and walks away. Lem notices the owner looking at his way, so he didn't acute accent he made a move. She returns with 2 dishes and said, tell me, where it is. Lem gives her the address, adding, I will be there waiting, for you. I told the landlady you are my wife. I will try to be there, she answered. Some moments later she brought a bottle of wine, saying, I love you. Me either. Lem replied, very surprised at her phrase ellipsis points after 2 hours seated there, trying to accompany her and looking what she does. Lem pays the bill and departed. He seats at the front yard of Miss Godluda, waiting for Phaeacia. At 17:20 hours he saw her figure coming down the street, using a clean yellow dress. Hi. So here it is? Yes, love. I told the landlady that I married you just recently. So you can come here any time you want, Lem said. She smiled and takes his hand, saying, very clever of you. Are you coming tonight? It acute accent that what you want? With all of my heart. Then I acute accent come. Hope the mattress in acute accent better than what I have back at the restaurant, she mentioned. If it is not, I will buy a new one, Lem said, hugging her. They enter the house, where Lem presents her to Miss Godluda, who x-rayed her with keen eyes and said, good to know you, young lady. And how much time are you married? 2 weeks only, Phaeacia said. Oh, newlywed, Miss Godluda said. They enter the room and she embraces him, saying, hope it could be true. 123, guess we can marry tomorrow, Lem mentioned, and she cried in emotion ellipsis points. Half an hour later, she returns to her job. Lem finds where to get married, and the man in charge said, don't acute accent to worry not having a record. Many citizen here never gets one. You only need to put your name on this card, the name of the lady and that acute accent that. To be married gives you several options. The bigger one is to opt to get an apartment at some communal block. Not that it will belong to you, but to use it as much as needed. Of course, expenses on electricity and others runs on your account. Nice fix. Yeah. By the way, are you working nowadays? The man asked. Not at the moment. Well, ellipsis points you need to be earning, mister. I have here some ads ellipsis points. If you are lucky enough, you could get a job ellipsis points interested. Lem realized he must work, or his scant amount of money will end very soon ellipsis points. He takes 2 cards, give thanks to the man and went immediately to find a job ellipsis points at 18:30 hours he gets one, gadakeeper at a warehouse acute accent parking lot. Plenty of trucks, that need either to pay a fixed amount per day, or presents a card telling they were paying for the month. Leandro, the former gatekeeper, was there to teach how the thing must roll. 124. It's very simple, pal. If they present a up-to-date card, you let him pass. If they have no card but money, you collect the money. If someone presents you a card that have not the current date, you refuse in trance. I see. And if the guy becomes violent? Lem asked. You just block the way, not raising the barrier. Points. If the guy just stays there blocking the way, you call the cops. Usually those guys takes half an hour to arrive. Leandro said. Very simple. More simple in acute accent S, when you get the night shift. Then they come only if you. The former gatekeeper said. Lem lost an acute accent to liking the second part of the job. He wants all nights for his own points and young Thaisha, but said nothing to that stranger. Points at 20 hours the shift ends, and Lem returns to the restaurant. She was there, and said, Hi. How are you? Fine, I get a job. Good. We acute accent LL talk of it later. She said, walking to the kitchen and returning 15 minutes later with 2 dishes. Eat it. Fresh meat, all well cooked. Thaisha said, leaving those steaming dishes on the table. Lem eats very slowly, again looking at her serving and walking here and there. 125. At 21.30 hours he departed to his room, and at 22 hours she arrives, carrying 2 bags. Hi. I brought my clothes. Are you happy? Thaisha asked. Of course. Come here. Lem said, embracing her tenderly. Since that day and for another 20, they enjoyed nights being together. But when the night shift commences, Lem said, sorry, darling, but we will be not sleeping together for a whole month. But we could be together during lunchtime. I mean, from 15 to 16 hours. I will ask for that period of time for my lunch. Thaisha said. I searched for another job, but the payment was lower. He commented. Days later, she arrives at 15.15 hours, saying, a man come asking for you at the restaurant. Did he give my name? Yes, Lem. Perhaps he is one of your team. Points the ones captured. But I don't acute accent to recognize him as such. Thaisha commented. I will be there tomorrow. And do you think he will return? Lem asked. No idea, dear. She said. All right, I will be there in disguise. Lem said. What for? She smiled. Just precautions. Points I acute accent LLB as a fat man and with a beard. It will be fun. Lem said. 126. At the next day, Lem appears at lunchtime, and she offers him 2 big dishes with the best food the restaurant could offer its clients that day. Eat. You must stay strong for me, she said, smiling. When Lem was at his second dish, Thaisha comes to his table with a dessert, saying. The man arrives. He acute accent S the one at the 4th table to the right. Lem looked at him. The guy was slim, tall, and nobody he knows. He keeps staying there. Thaisha approaches again, asking, and, do you know him or not? 127, then beware. She recommended. Lem finished his dessert, pays and went out. At the street, he crossed to the other side and hides behind a parked old truck. Half an hour later, he saw that man walking to the left side of the street. He follows him. Soon they were free among the cultivated fields, much more difficult to trot without being seen. Points so Lem approaches the man, saying, Hey, you. Where are you heading? The tall man stared at him, replying, And why do you ask? I am Lem Devianco, the man you asked for yesterday. What do you want from me? Lem asked. The face of that man brightened and said, Really? Then my quest has finished. See, I acute accent am Manuel Castillo, former adjutant of Colonel Simpson. The one that helps you come here using what must not be mentioned. You must know that my companions are in prison, and I am the only left around. Can you help them? Lem asked. Colonel Simpson is trying to liberate them, but not with much success. Castillo replied. And why are you searching for me? Lem asked. You are in the open. That acute accent S, because I acute accent am searching for you. Castillo replied. What for? Governor Delafin is decided to get that treasure you were to bring back from the mine. I have some other volunteers for the job. Now with you, we are 4 men to do the work. Castillo commented. If you promise to get me out of this planet and back to Earth, I acute accent LL help. About my companions, I guess I have little to say. And as Lem said, I acute accent am waiting for a helicopter. They soon will provide me with it. Tell me your address, so I can go there, for you the moment I can get my hands on that vehicle. Castillo asked. No way, buddy. Who knows, if you are what you say you are. Lem replied. The man rubbed his chin and said, you were promised to obtain 1,000,000 credits, if you accomplished the mission, am I right? You say it. And how are your finances right now? Bankrupt. I will give you 400.000 credits to confirm I am who I said I am, and to get you in the helicopter, when the moment comes. Is that good enough, for you? Castillo asked. I acute accent am satisfied. You can contact me at the same restaurant you were lunching today. Just be there at lunchtime, and I acute accent LL follow you gladly. Lem said. Castillo takes a pouch out of his belt, and handed it to Lem, saying, here is the promised money. Now, don't acute accent disappoint me. I will never do that. Lem said, pocketing the pouch without looking inside. Castillo keeps on walking to the wilderness, so Lem returns to the city and to his room, where he did count the bills ellipsis point 400.000 credits all right. That night he told Faisha about the tall thin man, and she said, really going to the wilderness? There are plenty of dangerous animals in there. Yes, but if we succeeded, I will get my ticket home. Of course, without my fellow comrades, but what the heck? I cannot do anything for them ellipsis points perhaps Colonel Simpson could liberate them. Lem said. And what about me? She murmured. I will take you with me. Or stay here, if I cannot. Don't acute accent you worry, I will never desert you not in 1,000,000 years. Lem said, looking how her face brightened again. Hope you have success. Perhaps in acute accent S the best thing that could be happening ellipsis points perhaps I could go with you in that helicopter, guess I could be of help. Aisha said. Better don't acute accent T. Only men allowed. You just stay put, waiting for me ellipsis points I guess I could come back in a couple of weeks. Lem said, but could not stop thinking about Odine and his same words uttered to that person ellipsis points now with more money. He bought dresses and new shoes to his lady ellipsis points and she was very happy with him. Oh, you are very generous. I love you, she said, and that same night she gives lots of pleasure to her man ellipsis points. Lem keeps working at his current job, and 8 days later, Castillo appears at the restaurant, saying, Hi, Mr. Lem. Are you ready to depart? Ready, as it could be. When we depart? Now, after I get lunch. We have the vehicle on the ready. But one of the guys quits ellipsis points we acute accent LL has to work a little more. Castillo commented. Sorry about that. I have a woman who could complete the team. Lem said. We're acute accent FC. The waitress. Are you kidding me? Too skinny. Lack of energy, I suppose. Castillo declares, after a swift look at Faisha. No way. She has lots of energy. We are married. Lem said. Mr. Manuel Castillo chuckled and said, better you think it over. If she gets ill or something happens out there with her, I will not take responsibilities ellipsis points, as I am lacking time to get some other person. I will accept ellipsis points but I told you, I acute accent LL be not responsible of anything, as it acute accent S a man acute accent F job. Of course. Let me tell about it. Lem said, standing from the table and walking towards Faisha, saying, the man accepted you in the team. Are you sure you want to go with me to the mine? What? Where? Come on. I told you about the mission and the million credit ellipsis points, Lem said. Oh, then ellipsis points I will go. When? Aisha said, looking disturbed. Right now. Lem said. But ellipsis points I acute accent am working right now. She replied. Not anymore. He acute accent LL pay you and we acute accent LL get out of here with lots of money. Lem promised. Well, I acute accent LL be ready in a minute. Aisha said, walking to the kitchen. Lem returns to the table, saying, she acute accent LL leave the apron and will follow us. Good. I have a big car parked outside. You wait for her ellipsis points I acute accent LL be in the car. Castillo said, troubled, as the owner was staring at them with suspicious eyes. Ellipsis points Aisha takes a whole 10 minutes to get ready, and said to Lem, where is that man? Waiting outside. Come with me. Lem said, and they both walked out the restaurant, under the surprised eyes of the owner. Ellipsis points the big black car was there, with open doors. They climb inside, shut the doors, and Castillo started the vehicle, running out of town in minutes, and going by the dirt road at 60 kilometers per hour, leaving a trail of dust behind. Ellipsis points 10 minutes later, they enter into a rundown hangar, where they saw a fine helicopter waiting. 131, here acute accent S the helicopter. Orozco must be near. Mr. Castillo said, stopping the car and descending from it. They followed him and a dark-skinned man comes out from the shadows, saying, the helicopter is ready, sir. Fine. Mr. Orozco, meet your future companions, Miss Aisha and Mr. Lem. Ellipsis points with them we will fly to the mine. Castillo said. Orozco bowed and said, if you want to travel today, we better push the helicopter outside the hangar. They pushed the vehicle and went at the outside of the hangar. Orozco said, have you any thicker clothes than what I acute accent am seeing? No, why? Lem asked. It acute accent S cold out there. You will freeze. Orozco mentioned. Castillo asked, Orozco, please find thick clothes to our passengers. The man grumbled something and disappears into the rooms he was abiding, and returns with 2 old airship pilot acute accent F jackets, saying, pardon, but it smells to cat. This will do. Castillo said, handling the jackets to the pair, and adding, put this on. Sorry, I have an acute accent. He thought of this. They climb into the helicopter and Orozco maneuvers it with precision, gaining altitude, until it was a dot in the sky. Orozco soon was perspiring, as a strong wind began to play with the machine, that stuttered, as if malfunctioning, a detail that makes everyone seasick. You better descend a little, man. We are all busy. Castillo said, but Orozco pointing to the front, saying, do you see those mountains Diaresis? The bigger one measures 5.000 kilometers high. We must pass it by a side, following among other gigantic ones. If I arrive there at low altitude, forget about less fuel consumption. And so, he keeps at the same height, until 45 minutes later the black menacing big mountain was at their right, with a wide expansion to the left, but soon another mountain ensued, making Orozco turns over to the right, then to the left, in order not to crash on the slopes. There was cold in the cabin, notwithstanding the fact that the heat system was on. A gust of wind and Orozco landed on a plateau. Wow! I thought we were crashing. Lem said. They nailed the helicopter with cables and nails to the rocky platform. The hole in the mountain, 75 meters up the platform, looks on then as a black crow. There is the entrance to the mine. Help me bring the bags inside. Orozco asked, showing the cargo at the rear of the helicopter. Inside the mine. When at the mine, that was in total darkness, Orozco said, no electric current, so we are going to use lamps and batteries. Is it too deep? Lem asked. 700 meters down below. But we are an acute accent T descending to the bottom. My map shows the X mark at 350 meters. Mr. Manuel Castillo indicates. As the elevator is not working, we must walk by the tunnels. Orozco said. To that purpose, everyone must carry a backpack and a bag. Lem takes some weight from Phaeacia Acute and S and carrying himself. The descent goes by a whirlwind road, turning, while descending. Their steps resounded with some echo, and more than one stone falls, from the ceiling or the walls, due to the tremor. 133.